Welcome to Resting Tism Face, a pop culture podcast where your host Todd Kinsella gives you what's geek this week. And while you're here, let's talk about being neurospacey, whether that be ADHD, autistic, or both. Which, spoiler alert, I am.
Yes. Hey everyone, it's me, Todd. You know what? I've been this is the second episode I've used this thing. What is this thing called again? It is it's called being a VTuber. It's called Stream Sprite. Stream Sprite. And it allows me to animate an image. And doesn't seem to want to be. Oh, there it goes. It's like it was. It was responding to my voice, and all of a sudden it stopped, and then it sped up. So, let's see. There we go. This laughing emoji. Sad. Blink. Rage. I can change the expressions with keystroke here. Where's it? Oh, that's smile. There's another smile. All right, so yeah, I'm just playing around with this Stream Sprite, as in streaming sprites, you know. So yeah, it's kind of cool. It's supposed to it doesn't seem to want to actually. It's not responding as much as I thought it would. It was working really good last time. It seems to be working okay now, I guess. It's supposed to respond to my voice. And it hasn't been, so maybe I'm not close enough to the mic. There we go. How about that? Is that better? All right. Oh, this is funny. The people over at Seattle Fun Events on Facebook, they've been posting a lot of great stuff recently. A lot of stuff about Jimothy. In case you haven't heard, the neighborhood of Seattle called Ballard has a new famous person, and it is Jimothy the raccoon, and he has got short spine syndrome, so he basically is a humpback, and he's got the short spine, which means that maybe that's why he doesn't look like he has a neck. His head's right on his torso. And everyone seems to be in love with this raccoon. It's great that there is a mascot, I guess, of being disabled. But why did it take a disabled raccoon to get people so excited about helping those who are disabled? In fact, today at the Woodland Park Zoo in Seattle, they were offering free tickets to those people who are disabled and their friends and family. So I guess if you, I don't know, you're probably not going to hear this today, the day of the recording, so probably not. But, maybe next year they're going to do it again. Who knows? It seems like that's really popular right now, thanks to this raccoon in Ballard. If you want to see something very funny in regards to Ballard, look for Cops in Ballard, or search for Almost Live Ballard. And there's lots of comedy routines that this local TV show used to do in Seattle called Almost Live, and they would frequently do comedy bits about some of the surrounding cities from Seattle, or surrounding neighborhoods even, because I think, technically speaking, Ballard is now its own city, but it started off as a residential neighborhood just outside of Seattle, just north of downtown. Anyways, the reason why I brought that up is that the Seattle Fun Events posted, I said, what do you call a group of Cybertrucks? And there's a photo of 3 or 4 Cybertrucks, and it says a recall. Do I have the rim shot button here? Where is it? There it is. There we go. Turn that back up so you can hear it. There it is. Oh, wow, that's loud. Sorry. Oh, wow. Okay. So anyways, yeah. I had a few things I wanted to talk about today, and it was basically, you know, this last few days has been San Diego Comic Con or International Comic Con or Comic Con International, however you want to call it, or SDCC, and they've announced a bunch of things as far as like what's happening in the MCU and the DCU and all the other movie cinematic universes that are out there. Um, let's see here. Let me pull up the screen. Oh, you know what? It might be good to change. Where is it? There it is. All right, that's what I'm currently looking at. So let me see if I can get this to. You don't need to see my bookmarks. Just going to show you the stories I wanted to talk about today. That's what I'm currently looking at. And then where are the other stories? Where are they? Trying to find. Oh, here it is. It's up on the other screen. So that means I should go back to this and change that. Here we go. That's the stories I wanted to talk about today. All right. These are the stories I wanted to talk about. So let's pull that up over here. We got the trailer for Ebenezer, which stars Johnny Depp playing Ebenezer Scrooge. We have let's see, the most unfair movie bombs that didn't do well, or actually now one of the bigger streaming hits. The Masters of the Universe movie didn't do well in theaters, but is doing gangbusters over on Prime Video. And then we have sci-fi shows, every episode masterpiece. What is that for? Oh, that is okay. These are 7 soft sci-fi shows that where every episode was a masterpiece, and one of those has got to be the 2004 Battlestar Galactica. I actually got to meet Katie Sackhoff a few years back, and she was super super nice, and I managed to be able to talk to her without like saying I had a crush on you. I did have a massive crush on her as Starbuck. See what else we got here. We got the Avengers Doomsday. We talk. There was a cool. There's a very cool video online right now showing the panel for Avengers Doomsday, and Ryan Reynolds shows up as the denim Deadpool, as I've been calling him, because the Deadpool outfit made out of denim instead of leather, which is funny to me. And then I saw this really cool video of a dragon flying around England, and at first I thought, okay, that's easily got to be CGI or it's AI, one of the two. And it turns out that it was a remote controlled RC plane that was built to look like a dragon. So it actually has flapping wings and everything else. It was really. I mean, the only thing it didn't do is breathe fire, but it was a good sized, a good 10 or 15 feet long, something like that. It was really huge. I'll be showing the videos of that. And I guess the House of the Dragon is why that thing exists. It was promoting the new season of House of the Dragon. So I'll be talking about that. So let's go ahead and pull this first one up. Close all those out. Let's talk about Ebenezer Scrooge. All right. So as you can see here. If you're watching the video at home, folks, if you're listening to in the regular means of listening to a podcast, if you go check out the YouTube channel in the description of the podcast, or if you go to tismface.rest, that's tismface.rest, and that will take you to the link tree that has all the important links, like where to listen to the podcast, where to watch if you want to see the video version of the podcast, because this is recorded in video, and then when I post it, it goes out and becomes audio for those who are not watching video on YouTube or on Substack. Substack is where it's posted originally, and then it goes out to all the important places for podcasting, some of which offer video and some that don't. So right now, the only two places that have the video version of the show is on YouTube. If you search for Resting Tism Face on YouTube, you'll find it. Or you can just go to youtube.com/@ADHDrocks, and it should bring it right up. But yeah, go to the tismface.rest. That will take you to all the important links where you can listen, where you can watch. And I have the ability to live stream. I have only done it a couple times so far. I think I'm going to hold off on doing live streams until we have a bit of a group of people who want to watch live, because I'll do them live if people want to watch, and I don't necessarily want to do a live show if no one's going to be watching live. So when we have some interest, then I'll start doing the live streams. But for now, I'm just going to record and then post them as such. So let me adjust this mic real quick. Come on. I think that's as far as it goes. I want to move it closer. For some reason, it doesn't feel like it's close enough. Come on. Of course, everything wants to fight me now. What the hell is going on here? Everything's coming loose. What the hell? Okay. I don't know why it's doing this to me right now. It's fucking with me. Oh, here we go. That's better, I think. All right, cool. It always seems to happen when I'm trying to do something on a podcast that it doesn't want to, just work. Doesn't want to. Let me move this around. Oh, he's in here. Shannon's looking for Arlo, and Arlo was hiding under my bed. I thought he went into her room, and that's why I pointed him there. He's coming into your room now. That's funny. There we go. There we go. That's the whole page on there now. All right, cool. Right, so the story says this. Let me get that pulled up here now. When you hear the name Ebenezer Scrooge, one is likely to immediately think of several beloved interpretations of Scrooge and A Christmas Carol, including A Muppet Christmas Carol, Scrooged, and Jim Carrey's A Christmas Carol among them. Now a new iteration of the classic story is hitting the big screen. At the center of it is the return of Johnny Depp in the role of Ebenezer. In Ebenezer's first trailer, Depp's career of iconic characters gets a major spotlight, as do the film's genuinely disturbing cast of ghosts. And you can watch the film's first trailer below, and it has a link where you can watch. So let's go ahead and give that a watch, okay? Well, that's loud. Turn it down a little bit. Okay.
To Uncle Scrooge.
To Uncle Scrooge.
I'm gonna like this a lot, actually. I mean, legitimately, it's him going in every scene. That's great. Oh man! So it comes out in theaters on November 13th. Let's take a look and see what day of the week that is. I bet you that's a Friday. Friday. Come on, give me the keyboard. It is a Friday. I was just guessing because most movies are released on a Friday. So November 13th will be a Friday the 13th this year, and you'll be able to go watch the new Ebenezer movie. All right. So that's cool. Let's see here. Where else? And then the next story was the story about the Masters of the Universe movie. Let's see here. It says one of 2026 most unfair bombs is officially a streaming hit. Can fans help the sequel get made? Despite a pretty hardcore flop in the theaters, this movie that genuinely deserved better from the box office is finally getting a second life on streaming. Hopefully in time for the studio to realize that moving forward with its sequel is the best course of action. They better do a sequel. Come on now. That was such a good movie. I don't know why no one wanted to see it. Oh, I remember why. Because people are stupid and they wanted to complain about the he/him tag on his desk. Calling it woke. It was a visual gag. I've said this before and I'm going to keep saying it until someone goes, "Oh, I get it now." He/him was a visual joke because he is He-Man. So, I don't know. It says here, everyone had been looking forward to the He-Man reboot with the hype for Masters of the Universe reaching a fever pitch, but then the movie debuted to a paltry 31 million in its first week, and critics were quick to tear it apart, rating it only 67% on Rotten Tomatoes. The fans, on the other hand, saw something totally different, loving this refreshing revival, as evidenced by its 87 audience score. 87% even audience score. And the way it's absolutely dominating the most watched chart. And while the critics are right at the movie didn't fully commit to the cheesy humor throughout and could be accused of being too self-deprecating in places, they seem to miss what the audience found so endearing about it. The sheer whimsy that was the reminiscence of the original. Reminiscence? Is that I'm probably not saying that word right. Whatever. I don't care. When I saw it, I was like, wow, this is exactly what I was hoping to see back in 1987 when the Dolph Lundgren version came out. And I was so bummed when it was nothing like the cartoon. Nothing like any of the action figures I had at home. It was like, what if He-Man was made for adults? That's what that movie was. The one from 1987 was not made for us kids, because if they cared what the kids wanted back in 87, we would have gotten the one we got this year. You know, the goofiness of it, the humor alone was well worth seeing it in theaters. And I like the self-deprecation. Of course, that's kind of my sense of humor, anyways. You know, or as I like to say, self-defecating, because self-deprecating is a nice way of saying shitting on yourself, right? So I say self-defecating largely because I misunderstood someone when they said it. Self-defecating. Does that mean like shitting on yourself? They're like, well, I mean, yeah, in a roundabout way, And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense to me. So I thought it was self-defecating forever. And when I discovered that's not what the words were, and I asked them to repeat it back to me, and I said, this is what I thought it meant, or this is what I thought it said. And I could see why I heard the other words, because it's very similar. And I thought it was funny. So I had that. Actually, I haven't done that joke in a while, but I have a joke where I talked about that and basically just said what I just told you guys, which is, I thought it was self-defecating humor because that's a funny way of saying shitting on yourself. And yeah, so I don't know why people hated it or didn't want to see it. If it's because it didn't, what did it say? It didn't, it didn't fully commit to the cheesy humor. I don't think they didn't. I think they fully committed. I just don't think it was the amount of the commitment was what was expected from a lot of people. I thought it was perfect for what it was and what you saw. There's like one cameo from the original movie, which was really cool, and there was a line in that scene referencing the original movie. And then there's also the pop culture reference of the Four Non Blondes song "What's Up" or "What's Going On" or whatever the name is. And he throughout the whole movie he's wearing the pink shirt, and you got the long blonde hair, or the medium length blonde hair. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I was not expecting a whole lot from it because of what we got back in 1987. I was actually, what I was expecting was that Jared Leto was going to completely fuck up the movie. Like, he didn't. Did he do a perfect Skeletor? I don't think so. I think he could have done better. But it wasn't so god awful that I got up and walked out or I didn't like the movie. I think that he should have tried to do more of what the original actor who did the cartoon did for the voice. Because he had a voice kind of like this, There's a little bit of Gilbert Gottfried in there. I don't know. Maybe I don't think that's what he intended, but that's what I picture when I hear the voice of the original Skeletor from the cartoon in the early to mid 80s. But the voice that we had in the 87 movie was very kind of theatrical, not theatrical as in the movie, but theatrical as in the theater. You know what I mean? So, and he was like a British actor voice, and it was, trying to sound menacing and scary, and he was just, it was like Fraser Crane as Skeletor, which was, I don't know, it was not, I don't know, it was okay. I think the voice could have been better, but it didn't ruin the movie. So, come on, why are we? Here we go. So there's that story, and then the next one is sci-fi. 7 sci-fi shows. Oh, come on. Really? Are you going to do this to me right now? Fuck off. All right, sorry about that, folks. I had one of those, you're using a pop-up blocker or an ad blocker. I was like, yeah, because most of these websites have so many damn advertisements that you can't tell what the story is and what's an advertisement text. It says here, this is on Collider.com. This is 7 sci-fi shows where every episode is a masterpiece. When it comes to science fiction, there are 2 main pillars of the genre: soft science fiction and hard science fiction. I never heard either of those terms, and I'm nearly 55 years old. Hard science fiction is where scientific accuracy is used to create plausible situations that hinges on actual chemistry, physics, robotics, whatever. So basically, Star Trek, right? Um, Generally, these stories focus on single scientific premise and run with it. Soft science fiction, on the other hand, is full of technobabble and more otherworldly adventures that are, in some respect, more akin to fantasy. So, Star Wars. Although technobabble happens a lot on Star Trek, but they try to be as accurate to like physics and stuff as possible. A lot of the, I mean, there is a musician, because Arturo Voltaire, I think is his name. He has a song about bouncing graviton particle beams off the main deflector dish, and it's basically a song about Wesley Crusher and like fixing shit on the fly because something happened and they need a fix. And if Geordie LaForge isn't there, they're gonna call Will Wheaton playing, uh, you know, Wesley Crusher. So, yeah, see what shows. We got Battlestar Galactica from 2004 to 2009. Great show. I need to rewatch it, honestly. I had a massive crush on Katie Sackhoff during this time. I still think she's an attractive woman. I think she's a fantastic actor, and she's very funny. So I think you should definitely check out her podcast if you haven't already. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but she does basically she watches episodes of BSG with her co-host or co-workers, co-actors, whatever, people she worked with on the show. So she it says here, often considered the greatest sci-fi shows ever made, Battlestar Galactica is one of the must-watch programs if you're a sci-fi fan, as humanity is nearly wiped out by a race of machines known as the Cylons. They take the stars in search of a mythical homeworld called Earth, fighting to survive with a fabulous ensemble that includes Edward James Olmos, Mary McDonnell, and Katie Sackhoff. The 4-season Sci-Fi Channel, or SYFY, SYFY, hit kept us on our toes from the first miniseries through the epic series finale. Very true. Battlestar Galactica truly fits the designation of a space opera. While there are plenty of action-packed space battles and man versus machine combat, the narrative is wrapped around up in a political chess moves, spiritual undertones, and doppelganger conspiracies. Every episode unravels something new about either the Cylons or the human survivors, making us question all we thought we knew from the beginning. There's nothing quite like watching it for the first time. I have to admit, I've seen the original Battlestar Galactica from 1978, and I was a fan back then because it was on the tails of Star Wars, the original movie, and all the toys were similar, and like I knew the difference between the Battlestar Galactica characters and the Star Wars characters because, well, they're similar in size, but they weren't exactly the same. But yeah, no, I really like both shows. And then when I started watching this one, I was like, okay, this one's way different. This one's way darker. Like the other one had some drama to it, and there's some cool science fiction type shit going on. This one had you like questioning reality, and you wanted to know who was the Cylon because the Cylons now look like humans. And there was I think there was 12 models, and the blonde woman in the red dress, Helfer is her last name. I can't remember her first name. her character was gorgeous, and she was, the woman in the red dress, and she was she was the one person that the humans saw, didn't know she was a Cylon herself, but she worked with the Cylons, kind of thing. It's a great show. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. I believe it's on Netflix right now. If it's not, it's somewhere else on there. So, see here. So, anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yes, the 7 shows that were amazing or whatever. The Prisoners, a show that happened before I was even born. So, like 50-something years ago, almost 60 years ago. It was a popular British series. The Prisoner may seem like an offbeat pick for those unfamiliar with the program, but the Patrick McGowan created series MCGOON McGowan, because it's not Guhan. Maybe it is Guhan, but typically when you have a name that starts with an MC and it ends with an HAN, the H is typically silent. McGowan. It was created considering quite the triumph in its day, following a former British operative called Number 6, who is abducted and placed in a small coastal town from which he is unable to escape. As the name suggests, this is a television series of your favorite prison break movies version of your... Okay. Yeah, it was never a thing here in the States. I don't think I've even heard of that show. And I like British sci-fi and British comedies. I've never heard of it. Take a sip of this Mountain Dew. Oh, speaking of sodas, or pop, whatever you call it. So yesterday I saw a video. Sorry about the side quest here, but I saw this video yesterday that tells you how to make your own Dr. Pepper or Mr. Pibb, whichever you prefer. You need to have half root beer and half cherry flavored cola, and that will make Dr. Pepper or Mr. Pibb. I tested this theory yesterday. I went to the local 7-Eleven and got myself a fountain drink, big gulp, and I filled it up halfway with cherry Pepsi, and then I filled the other half up with root beer, and it absolutely tasted like Mr. Pibb or Dr. Pepper, depending on if you're a Coke person or a Pepsi person. So no, that was cool. All right, now back to your regularly scheduled podcast. The next one on the list, which is a show I absolutely watched and was a fan of, Stargate Atlantis, which is the show that introduced me to Jason Momoa. I actually legitimately bumped into him kind of the same way I bumped into Jason Mewes last couple weeks ago. I was walking to the area where people I wanted to get autographs from were, and I bumped into this mountain of a dude, and I go, "Oh, sorry, bud." Yeah, no problem. I looked at him and I said, "Oh, dude, I love Atlantis. It's a great show." And he's like, "Thanks, man," and kept walking. So, yeah, no, he was fucking tall. He was also like in his 20s at that point. This is when I saw him at Emerald City Comic Con. I think that had to have been like 2011. So it was a couple years after, 2 or 3 years after the end of Atlantis. So because that ran from 2004 to 2009. So the same amount of years as Battlestar Galactica. Both great shows. It ended way too soon. The next show on the list is a show called Timeless, and I don't know if I've seen this. Time travel shows can be tricky because any era of history, American or otherwise, that one revisits will be marked by our present-day views of the past. Timeless is in some respects is the best of both worlds, because the show both acknowledges how far the world has come in the last few hundred years, while still in awe of exploring some of the U.S. most iconic moments. With every episode of Timeless the show upped the ante by sending the lifeboat crew into the most dire of circumstances. I don't know if I've ever seen this show. I need to find it now because that sounds like a show that I would absolutely be into. Let me see if I can find it. Let's look for it. Timeless drama series. Looks like it's a part of. I can probably get it on Prime Video. It looks like. Oh, cool. All right, so is that it? Nope. Firefly is up next on the list. I'm gonna go ahead and skip over that because I don't really care about Firefly. I was actually just talking to Shannon about this. I don't really hate Firefly as much as I dislike the fans because they're so insufferable about how the show was canceled and like it should have never been canceled. It was a fantastic show. It was an amazing show. It was the greatest show ever made. I was like, that's not entirely true because that title has already been taken by Star Trek. You know, you can't compare it to Star Trek. It's Star Trek. Star Trek has had a number of sequel series, spin-off series, and a number of movies. There's only been one movie, and not every episode of the show was ever aired. You could get all the episodes now if you buy the DVDs or Blu-ray, or if you stream them online. They're all available to watch, but they weren't all played on TV, and that's why some people say that it was canceled because they didn't show the entirety of the series, and they started on the wrong episode. All that stuff. It's like, you know what? I don't think even if they did show it in the proper order, I don't think it wouldn't have saved the show. And don't get me wrong, I love all the actors that are involved with the show. They're all great in other things I've seen them in. Like I love Alan Tudyk in pretty much everything I've seen since Firefly. Same with Nathan Fillion. He's fantastic in everything else I've seen him in. And the rest of the people. The only person I could say I don't care if I see anything more by them is Adam Baldwin. Adam Baldwin is a prick. He, around 2016, he went on a Twitter rant about a congressperson or some other local government person in Arizona having a speech in Spanish and how that was not what we do in this country and blah, blah, blah. And my comment was this. Oh, wait, you mean to tell me he doesn't just play dumb meatheads on TV? He is one in real life? Because, I mean, that's a very bonehead thing to say. It's like, that's not the official language here in America. Dude, there is no official language in America. The way I'm a Gen Xer, I was born in 1971. I remember from the earliest memories of learning about our country growing up, we learned that America is a melting pot where everyone comes to get away from whatever horrible country they're originally from because of, hardships, to war and just people coming to America for a better life. That's what it was all about. Coming to America for a better life, trying to better their standing in the world. At some point in my lifetime, it went from coming to America to do a better life to, why are you coming to our country? You don't belong here, kind of thing. And I don't understand that. To me, that's counterintuitive because everyone in this country is from somewhere else, unless, of course, you're an actual native, First Nation, even. If you're a from Anglo-Saxon heritage or from African or whichever, something other than North America. If you're not from North America originally, like your family didn't start here in North America, they came from another part of the world and landed here in America. Not the United States, but America, like Northern America, Central America, and South America. If you came from Europe or Asia or any other part of the world that's not here, you're an immigrant. Period. End of story. So people getting like, this is my country, you can't be here kind of bullshit. It 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 confuses me, number one. It angers me, number two, because there's no reason to be that mean and nasty towards someone who wants to do better for their family, for their kids, for their grandkids. I don't understand that. I never understood that. And when I hear it from people I considered friends and family, and they say shit like that, it's like, where do you think you're from? Yeah, but so and so came here legitimately. It's like, okay, it was different when they came over. Number one, our government wasn't trying to send them back as soon as they got here. The people might have been different, but the government didn't do that. The government's what told the people, you can't do that to people trying to, come to America to better their lives. You can't do that to them. And now the government is acting like all these people that don't want people from other countries to come here. And that really, it really is not something I like to think about, honestly, because it's something that is, I don't get that. My grandmother, when I was little, would tell me that when she came to America, she had trouble finding work because there were signs that say, help wanted, Irish and N-words not need not apply or not welcome. And of course, they're not saying N-word. They're saying the actual word. I will never say that word. Even if I'm given permission to by somebody, it's like, I still don't feel comfortable saying it. I'm not going to say it. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's sorry about that. That was the wrong button. That's the button I was looking for. So it's this whole situation where people think that it's okay to yell at people who are wanting to get away from a corrupt government to come to a country to better their lives. Although at this point, our country is not much different than the ones they're trying to escape from. So, all right, let's get back to the story. I'm sorry, that's another fucking another side quest of me talking about the world and getting a little emotional about it. The Twilight Zone, I think, is well, there's a couple more actually. The Twilight Zone from 1959 to 1964. Twilight Zone, it was one of those shows that talked about, they used science fiction to talk about human rights. A lot of the stories that were in the Twilight Zone would be considered woke today. Like, how dare they turn this classic TV show into this woke garbage? That's exactly how they would act. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's how they acted when they brought back the Twilight Zone a few years back, because it was done by the guy who did Get Out. But what's the name of that show that he did on Comedy Central? I'm trying to remember the guy's name, and my brain is not wanting to give it to me. The one of the things that is the worst about being ADHD is that you know the answer to the question, but your brain's like, no, I'm not giving that information to you right now. I'll give it to you while you're taking a shit later, when you're not talking to anybody, and you're trying to think of something else entirely, and probably trying to push out a turd. That's when that information will come to you easily and falls right off the tip of your tongue. So yeah. So yeah, I've only seen a handful of episodes of the original Twilight Zone, because a lot of the episodes were really dark and scary and a real mindfuck, But and I'm pretty sure those are all available on either Paramount Plus or HBO Max. I can't remember which. If you just search for the original Twilight Zone, the internet will tell you. All right, the next show on the list, I think this might be the last one. Yeah. Fringe from 2008 to 2013. I started watching this and it felt like it was like it felt like a bargain basement version of X-Files. It didn't feel like it was an original idea. It felt like they were borrowing heavily from X-Files. And for that reason I stopped watching it, because like it would have been like watching GoBots when you really like Transformers. And I actually did like both of those shows. So I probably should have liked this, but for some reason I was really, really not into it. I was like, okay, this is just a shitty like version of X-Files. I think it may have been because there was an actor on it who was on another show I absolutely could not stand. Kid from Dawson's Creek. I think that was probably why, because they had the kid from Dawson's Creek. I'm like, yeah, I don't care to watch this show. It's got him in it. And he's probably just as fine actor as anybody else in the show. But because I associated him with Dawson's Creek, which I never watched, I just saw the commercials for it and I thought it looked dumb. Probably should watch it now just to kind of, show my support for the other actor from that show who recently passed away, James Vanderbeek, who I liked in a lot of other things, but I just never watched Dawson's Creek. Let's see here. Let me switch over to here real quick so I can look up this other thing. I don't want to do this on camera. So I will close that and that. And oh, that's the other things. There we go. All right, here's the next story I was going to talk about. I mentioned it earlier, but this is on comicbookmovie.com. Avengers Doomsday San Diego Comic-Con trailer leaks online, and it's breathtakingly epic. I tried watching this leaked footage. It was so pixelated, so blurry, I couldn't tell what was on screen. So whatever they saw, I couldn't tell what it was. It was so blurry. Okay, this is what it says here. The San Diego Comic-Con trailer for Avengers Doomsday is now leaked online. Slightly better quality, as you can see in the player below. There's also a clearer recording doing the rounds on Reddit, which can be found here. I think that's the one I looked at earlier, which I was like, that's absolutely not better. Let's see. Let's take a look. Let me pull this up on screen so you guys can see what I'm seeing. All right, so here we go. Here we go. Turn that up. I don't hear anything. Do you guys hear anything? I don't have it muted. Better, but there's no audio. Let me try. Is this download? Can I download this? Pop up here? No. Open with. Okay, I don't hear any audio. Hold on. Try this again. There we go.
Everything he loved was taken from him. I knew he was lost, but I did not realize that he was broken.
What? Turn that down a little bit. Sorry, folks. I didn't realize I had it so loud. I'm sorry.
have lived stolen lives. And you must give them back.
What?
You begged for hell long before I grunted.
Dude. That version of Doom is awesome.
Just to me.
Okay. Now that was pretty awesome. The one we're watching right now is better than the one I saw earlier today. Can I save this? Oh, here we go. There's the download button. I'm going to download that video. See if I can trim it up a little bit. Right on. I don't know. I'm one of those people that I want to wait till I see it before I make any judgments, but that looks pretty awesome. I heard someone say it was mid. I was like, how is that mid? The trailer that I saw, the teaser I saw, was it last week that came out on YouTube? This is not the stuff that was shown at Comic-Con. This is like the official release trailer, was a teaser trailer. And I think what we just saw on this clip was a little bit more than what I saw originally. Which we saw the return of Thor, and Steve Rogers shows up. He's not in Captain America uniform, so he's not Cap anymore, but he's still Steve Rogers. So I don't know if there's like an alternate universe, or there's some time travel involved, or what, but I am really looking forward to seeing Avengers Doomsday, which comes out in December of this year. And I think we have like just a few days away till the Spider-Man movie comes out, right? I think. Let's see here. Let's take a look. Let me go open up. Close all that stuff out. Let's see. Was there anything in here on my Feedly list about Spider-Man? Oh, dude, they're doing another remake of Carrie in the age of social media. Because the original movie, the girl was bullied by girls at school. This looks like it's probably going to be like an online kind of bullying situation, which I believe that online bullying is way worse because it's more psychological than standard bullying. Because you can't like punch someone in the face for being an asshole to you. You kind of have to either block the person or kind of ignore them, but it's kind of hard to do when, yeah. Yeah, so let's see if I can find an image of the oh, here's a great image of Ryan Reynolds in his his new Deadpool outfit. See, when I first saw the image of this outfit, I did not connect that the gray was denim. Well, then I saw this picture earlier today, and I'm like, oh shit, that really is denim. Let me zoom in a little bit. That is, and he's got the Canadian flag patch on his chest. He even mentions wearing his hashtag gene pool. That's funny. He even makes a reference to the Canadian tuxedo, which is basically what they called someone wearing a jean jacket and jean pants back in the 70s. A Canadian tuxedo is what they Yeah, Le Canadian Tuxedo. There it is. That's fucking hilarious. Oh my god, that's brilliant. That's great. Oh wow. So let's see here. Okay, so nearly an hour now. I got one last story to talk about. And I think I mentioned it earlier, which was House of the Dragon season 3 has been going on and on recently about the new season coming out by promoting the show with a radio controlled dragon over the skies of England. You know, where is it? I found the first video. I think it's this one. Let me take a look real quick. Yeah, okay, here it is. I'm going to play this clip for you guys. So if you're not watching the video of this podcast, now is a good time to switch over to that over on my YouTube channel. Search for Resting Tismface on YouTube or go to tismface.rest for the link directly to all the social medias, including YouTube. But yeah, check this out. When I first saw this video, I legit thought it was a AI or CGI video of a dragon flying over. And what you don't see in this video is that it's an RC. That it is flying. It's a real physical thing. It's being chased by another RC. It looks like probably a drone. But yeah, this is like a drone with a camera built in. I thought it was being chased by a bird. But yeah, no, this is, and I saw this, I was like, oh, that can't be real. Then I found this other video. Had the guy from the Channel 5 News there in England. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Here we go.
Kilograms, and if you look closely, it has 23 moving parts. Cyrax weighs about 13 kilograms, and if you look closely, it has 23 moving parts, from the head to her tail, even to her 8-meter wingspan, all working together to bring her to life. But the coolest part is the flight isn't even powered by her wings. It's by these propellers hidden right inside her legs. Cyrax weighs about 13 kilograms, and if you look closely, it has 20.
I would absolutely fly that RC. If I had access to a flying dragon, I would absolutely send that flying around my neighborhood. I'd be scaring the hell out of people with it. I'd be having so much fun. Yeah, so they've been promoting the release of season 3 of House of the Dragons. And it says here on comicbook.com, it says the whole world stopped to watch Game of Thrones years ago. And even though the Stark family was many people's favorite, some sympathized with the Targaryens. I know I'm probably butchering that. I honestly don't care. Especially because of the dragons. When the series began, there were only 3 petrified eggs. By the end of it, one of the creatures born from them was burning King Landing to the ground. However, when you think about Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserion today, the first thing that comes to mind isn't a personality. Instead, you remember that dragon is the biggest, most important. Rhaegal is the green one. Viserion is the one who died and came back as a weapon for the Night King. And that seems a little unfair for 3 creatures that should have been among the most fascinating figures in Daenerys' entire arc, doesn't it? Well, House of the Dragon seems to have thought about that exact question. honestly, I saw the first episode of the show, the original Game of Thrones, and I was so weirded out by the siblings having an intimate moment, to put it lightly. Really weirded me out, like to the point of I have zero interest in watching the show. I've had many people say, that was one scene at the first episode. Are you kidding me? The show is great. You're missing out on an entire series because of that? Like, dude, that's fucking gross. Why aren't you weirded out by it? That's more concerning for me. How is it you're okay with seeing a brother and sister doing that, and then, like, I guess because it was one scene and not like the entire series, but someone else told me that happens again a few more times. I'm like, yeah, that's why I never wanted to watch any more of it, because I didn't want to see that again. That really fucking weirded me out. Like, to like be the, it would be like someone who's arachnophobic seeing a show that has a spider and them not having any interest in watching the rest of the show because of that one episode. I'm like that, but with incest. I don't want to see it. I really am grossed out by it. It's really disturbing. All right. I think that is it for today. I don't have any other stories pulled up, and talking about Game of Thrones is kind of like throwing me here. So I think I am done for the podcast today. I will have the links to all the stories I talked about in the show notes for this episode, and so you can check them out. I talked about them in order that I have them on my Google Doc. So if you look at the links, they are in order of how I talked about them in the show, and you can see what they say. The links tell you what the stories are. But yeah, so thanks for tuning in to episode 4 of Resting Tism Face, which is essentially the same podcast as I did before, the 206 Geek and the other shows that I had to do with. Anytime there was nerd stories, that was me. I brought those up. We talked about them because I wanted to talk about them. And I always enjoy having geek or nerd conversations. I will absolutely engage with anybody who wants to talk Star Wars or Transformers or G.I. Joe or Ghostbusters, anything nerdy from the 80s I will talk about. And I will talk about most anything anyways, but those are the topics that really will get my my special interest in pulling to the front. And so yes, thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time. And until then, be nice. Treat others how you want to be treated. I mean, that's not just a Christian thing. That is just being a decent human being, man. So, even if you don't like the person you're talking to, be pleasant. Don't give them a reason to be worse to you. You know what I mean? Unless, of course, they're a fascist, then talk mass amounts of shit. I really don't care about fascist feelings. I no qualms about talking shit, being mean and nasty to them, because they don't give a shit about you. And otherwise, yeah, be nice. Unless they're a fascist, and then they're a piece of shit anyhow, so treat them as such. I know it's very contradicting, isn't it? But you know what? Fascists don't care about other people. They only care about themselves and the people that the only people they care about that are not family are the people that are taking money from them. So, all right. So thanks again for listening to me babble for an hour, and I will talk to you guys next time.